And welcome to Beyond the Page Media. I am your host, T. Taylor. I am excited to introduce a new conversation series created with self published authors in mind. It's our Behind the Book experts every author needs. Today, I'm joined by Elona Washington. She is the Chief Publishing Officer and founder of the Author's Journey, an award winning hybrid publishing and marketing company. With 25 years of marketing experience, Alana helps authors increase their visibility, strengthen their brands, and build additional revenue streams. She is a LinkedIn top voice as a number one Amazon best-selling author and has been featured by USA Today, Self Magazine, Business Insider, Book Riot, and the CBC. Welcome, Alana. Thank you for joining me and sharing your expertise today.
Thanks for having me. I forgot all about that stuff I did before. It feels like forever.
Well, since you said that, before we dive into today's conversation, and for those who may be meeting you for the first time, let's take a moment to introduce yourself beyond the bio. What led you to the work you do today?
Certainly. So honestly, what led me to what I do today was my childhood being a Me Too survivor. I remember we lived in Jersey and we were in the car heading to Washington, D.C. to relocate. And I just remember sticking my head out the window and thinking, I'm going to write a book and tell everybody what they did to me. And then I wrote my book in 2016. And those are all the accolades that you had rattled off: the Canadian Broadcasting Network, USA Today, all of that. And people were asking me to help them write and publish their stories and market their books. So that's how it all started. It was an accident.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, and so was that your memoir then that you released in
Yes.
2016? Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
All right. Well, then let's do this. Is that what you say would led the experience that you had? Is that what led you to combine your marketing background with publishing to create the author's journey?
Actually, I got a marketing degree. I just loved it. My BA was in African American Studies, but my first job out of college was marketing. So
Okay.
I wanted a marketing career. I wanted to climb the corporate ladder and be a chief marketing officer and do all the things. But, past trauma and stuff was calling me to write this book. But
Okay.
when I wrote the book, I was like, I like the book marketing more than the writing and being an author. So I was just, marketing my book. I was doing really, really well. And then that's when people started coming to me. So it was a happy accident.
Okay. Nice. Those are good accidents. Those are ones that we like. So also many authors believe the hardest part of the process is marketing the book. From your perspective, what begins after the book is released that authors often aren't prepared for?
I think authors have the idea that writing is the hardest part, and they don't expect to have to get out there and market. Most writers, most real writers who have something that they want to say and share to the world, they're introverts. Like, I'm Gen X. So
Yeah.
I remember the writers, the running joke was they would be in a cabin smoking cigarettes, writing away in solitude. They would give the book to their publisher and then they wouldn't have to do anything. The publisher just takes it from there. But those days are over, and you
Yeah.
can blame social media for that.
Yes, agreed. Big time. Uh, so you mentioned that your ideal client already has some visibility but needs a system to sell more books and create additional income streams. What does an effective author marketing system look like?
So I would say, well, first let me explain. I find the best clients are those who already have visibility because they did the work and then they understand that it's not just going to come to them. The sales aren't going to come to them. They put in the work to grow their following, to get speaking engagements, to sell their coaching products. So they understand that there's work behind it. So when they
Okay.
publish a book, they're like, I know I just can't give it to a publisher, or I know I just can't upload it on Amazon and write posts about it and then I'm going to get 1,000 sales. They understand that's not how it works. So
Okay.
that's why I say they're my ideal customer. But what I like to do and what a lot of people don't really do is I can't say what the best is because everyone's different.
Okay.
So I don't have a program where you sign up and then I tell you, do this the exact same way because everyone's
Okay.
capacity is different. Everyone's audience is different. Everyone's interests are different. I've signed up for coaching programs where I was told to just do it this way and it irked me. It wasn't in my system to do that.
Okay. And that makes it harder to comprehend as well if you're doing just like one system for everybody.
Yes, and then also too, for some people, it just simply goes against their brand.
Yeah.
Like I work with a lot of authors, they hate social media. They understand it's a necessary evil, but I tell them if you don't like social media, you don't have to be on social media. You can sell books without social media. So
Okay.
we develop a plan that is more comfortable for them. Because when you tell people to do something and they don't like that thing, they're not going to do it.
Right. That's true. That is so true. So what would you say your number one piece of advice for a new author? Um, Let me think of how I want to ask that. So initially you had said that growing an email list is a great way for new authors. Like, why do you feel like that's the most important, and how can an author begin building one before they have a large audience?
So I'm gonna give a story why email addresses are important. So
Okay.
let's say there is a neighborhood bar. And then you go to that bar, and every time you're there, there's this cute dude there, and he's surrounded by all of these women, and they're all in his face, laughing, kikiing at his jokes, trying to get his attention, right? You
Hmm.
walk in the bar, your eyes meet, and then you go over there, and then out of all of the girls around you, he leans over and talks to you and asks you for your number. That's the equivalent of getting someone's email address. So you could be on a stage, you could be on social media, um, you could be on a podcast, right? And everyone is listening to you and getting your attention. But the people who are really, really interested in you will take that step further and give you their contact information, their email address. And then that's when the relationship starts. That's when the relationship builds.
So what would be your advice as to if you've built the relationship as far as getting them to even give you their email, but do you have suggestions or advice on how to get them to click the things in the email, like how to actually, because a lot of people just, some just give you your email, but never actually read the information that you send. So how do you handle that?
Um, People probably gonna be like, that's a lot of work, but s- segment your audience. So I do book marketing and I do publishing.
Okay.
Those people get two very different emails. And then I make the emails valuable in some way.
Okay.
So to get them to sign up, they receive a lead magnet. We talk about the lead magnet some, right? And then um, during the time that they sign up to the time I do my next workshop, I'm sending them emails that speaks to their pain point mostly or their desired outcome. I did an email talking about Juneteenth because Juneteenth is tomorrow. And I said what we can learn about marketing from our ancestors. And I
Mhm.
talked about how even before social media, they used peer-to-peer word-of-mouth marketing. We know of Ida B. Wells today. We know of Fannie Lou Hamer today because they toured the country and shared their pamphlets, shared their books, shared their knowledge, not just from Mississippi, but all over the US. And we're still talking about them today. And I feel like social media has made a lot of us lazy. We feel
Yeah.
like we could create a post and then like all of these accolades and all of this money is going to come, but we still got to do the work. So um, I try to tie in what's going on in the world or, you know, what's going on like in our community with with the subject matter as well. And
Okay.
then because they're part of the email list, they get certain benefits that other people don't get. So when I start my workshop, they get early access, they get to register early. I
Okay.
have a limit of 10 people per workshop because I really want to work with people individually to make sure they build the right sales funnel for them.
Okay.
And then they get a discount. So they're going to be motivated to open that email.
Right. Okay. That is great advice. And as we mentioned earlier, you also help authors increase their visibility and in some cases significantly increase their book sales. What are some common marketing mistakes that prevent authors from gaining momentum?
I don't know how to put this. So, what I see a lot of authors do is they talk a lot about I. I wrote this book. I did this. It's about me. I. And yeah, you have fans that are going to support you because they support your work, but people buy books to escape, to gain knowledge, to grow, all of these things, but they want to know when they drop their $20, what's in it for them. And a lot of authors avoid that messaging in their copy because they're thinking, I did this wonderful thing. I'm sharing my story. I'm getting this out. I'm healed. But they're not thinking about why someone will want to learn it from them.
Hmm. Interesting. And do you think that applies to all genres or just like more self-help books or memoirs?
I see fiction authors do it too.
Okay.
Um, I just published a dark fantasy, and my character is, you know what I mean? Instead
Mhm.
of saying this dark fantasy novel is going to make you want to get back with your ex. You see the
Okay.
difference? You see the difference?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. And so how can authors determine which marketing strategies are right for them instead of trying to follow every trend or be present on every platform?
Do what doesn't give you the ick. So if you don't like dancing on TikTok, don't dance on TikTok.
Right. Um, is there ever a time where a trend is going to be beneficial though?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some cute trends on TikTok that I would do. And I don't even like being on video, but some of
Me
them I
neither.
think are cute. Some of them I think are cute, but I won't be dancing on TikTok, right? Like I have
Right.
to draw the line somewhere.
Understood. Understood. Okay. Now, with so many publishing services available, what should an author look for when choosing a publisher, a publishing consultant, or a marketing professional? And what warning signs should they recognize?
Google is free. So when you talk to somebody and they tell you something, follow it up with your own research.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are sold a dream. There are some really good salespeople out here, and then they'll tell you, oh, when you publish with me, you get this benefit. Or an author told me yesterday that a publisher told him that they don't have to pay back the advance. And I'm like, yeah, you do got to pay back the exit. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's not a loan, but the way it's structured, you're paying that sucker back, right?
Okay.
And then I said, if they're not telling you something that's true, then they're trying to sell you a dream to get your
Okay.
money, and then they're not going to deliver by
Okay.
any stretch of the imagination. So look for someone who's honest, who believes in you, and believes in what you're trying to do. If the publisher doesn't believe in your work, they really just want to get your money in. Like if it's like a hybrid or a self-publisher, they just want to get the money, have churn, meet their goal. And if it's traditional, um, I can't, traditional is different because I used to work for HarperCollins Christian Publishing. So we would bring in a group of books at a time, right?
Okay.
And my team believed in all of the books. Like we all voted as a team. Marketing voted, editors voted on whether or not we were going to, sign an author.
Hmm.
So we all were invested at some point, but there are only so many hours in a day that traditional publishing teams have to market your book. So
Oh,
don't lead with the expectation that I'm just going to write and then they're going to do everything. It's not like that anymore. Those days are over.
okay. Do you have a preference, or do you, as far as between the self-publishing and the traditional, or do you think they each have like their own place?
They definitely each have their own place. I think traditional is best for people who already have an audience and their audience is big enough or loyal enough where traditional level distribution makes sense,
Okay.
because what traditional publishers are best at is bookstores, library, retail placement, right?
Hmm.
And getting the message out. But if you're a no-name author with 1,000 followers, you haven't done a podcast, you don't do speaking, but you got this great book, traditional publishing isn't right for you, because
Okay.
what's going to happen is um, traditional publishers don't just say, call up Barnes and Noble and say, hey, I got this book. They have Barnes and Noble and all the other distributors have to make the decision like, yes, I'm going to carry this book.
Oh,
So if Barnes and Noble and Target and all these other places are saying, who is this person? Never heard of them, never heard of this book. No, I'm not going to carry it. There's no point in you having a traditional deal. It doesn't really help you
okay.
in some way. But if you are Kennedy Ryan, you know how she self-published all them books and she
Hmm.
grew her popularity, right? Everybody's
Okay.
talking about Kennedy Ryan. She was able to get a traditional deal. She was able to negotiate what she, wanted on a cover and all of that stuff. But her name was already spoken in rooms, so that now that she's traditional, more people have access to her books.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. Um, and then you became a public advocate after publishing your own best-selling memoir that we discussed earlier. How did sharing your personal story expand the purpose of your book and influence the work you do today?
I think when you are um, abused in any type of way, it doesn't matter what type of abuse you go through, the number one thing that they want to do is emotional abuse. They tell you that, you're worthless. No one's going to listen to you. No one's going to believe you. And that sticks in your psyche for years. And you walk around thinking that you don't have any power. So writing my book and getting the results that I got made me realize that I wasn't what they said I was. I had more power
Okay.
than I thought. So helping other people find their voice and sharing their voice to help other people, even fiction, because the stories in fiction are so powerful.
Right.
And I know when I was little, I used to read a book a day. So fiction is just as important as nonfiction. And, fiction writers, they go through writer's block and they go through imposter syndrome and everything else. So having the confidence to tell your story or share your story or publish your story is not what I expected I would get out of this, but I'm glad, and I'm glad that I'm able to help others find their voice too and share it.
That's nice. Hindsight is 2020. If you had to do it over again, would you still do the same, take the same path?
No, like I really, really just want to be like small and quiet and hidden. I really just wanted to have like a job, a nice house for kids, and just be like a blip on the earth, right?
Uh-huh.
But you know, God has other plans for you. But if I knew that it was um there was no other option for me, like I had to do this, I would have started sooner.
Okay.
Because I was in, I don't know, 10 years ago. Yeah, I was like late, yeah, I was in my 40s when I wrote my book, when I first wrote my book. And I was 45, so it was 10 years ago. And I'm 55 now, and I'm just like getting started, just ramping up.
At least you did it though.
Yeah, at least I did it. At least I did it. I would have done it sooner. Yeah.
Understood. Okay. Well, for the author who feels discouraged because their book is not receiving the attention or sales they're expecting, what would you encourage them to do?
You're not going to like me when I say this, but
Okay.
look at everything that you're doing to get your book sold and out there? And can you legitimately say, I've tried everything, I've given my 100%? If you can say that and there's no traction, then you need a plan. But
Okay.
if you can honestly say, I really haven't been doing nothing, I'm just complaining, then do something.
Okay. If they were to create a plan, like what do you think the first step should be? I think basically what you're saying is, take inventory of what they've already tried, and then what would you say from there?
Um, See what's working and double down on that and create a funnel. I think a lot of people do a lot of little things, but they're not building a funnel like an email address and all of these other things to get people into their ecosystem so they can sell them more things, let them know when the second series is coming out. They're relying on 99-cent deals, BookBub, and NetGalley and all of these things, but that's just awareness. There needs to be attention and then consideration and then purchase. So everyone's doing all of these little things to sell these one-off books when they should be building an ecosystem where people can say, "Oh my God, I just read this chapter. Did anybody notice that the main character did this? Like, oh man, I saw that. I used to do that when I was in my 20s." Like have them in a community where they can have these conversations with each other and with you, and then they can say, "Why'd you kill off, Tom? Right? That was wrong. You need to." Like
Right.
that builds fandom, right? And a lot
Okay.
of authors are missing that. So find a way you can build a fandom.
So fandom like through Facebook, or like create your you could you do that through your own website?
Um, However you want. Yeah, a lot of people have Facebook groups. What's her name? Jaquel J. She just got a 7-figure advance. And she was self-publishing since 2014. And
Mm.
she has a loyal fan. And if you go to her IG and her link in bio, she doesn't just have the books. She has her Facebook group and she has email address. She has all these other ways that you connect with her.
Okay. Interesting. So those some great tips. Um, what is one thing you wish every author understood before investing money into publishing and marketing a book?
That they're going to have to get out of their introverted ways. I mean, I have to do it. You got to do it too.
Right. Exactly. Um, I don't know where it comes from. I think because as writers, like you said, maybe it's just the fact of the creativity or the dream of it all. Like you only in your mind just want to write. You don't think about all the other things that come along with it, like the things we've been discussing today: publishing, marketing, visibility. Um, all none of that crosses our mind. We just want to write and put it out. So that's why I said, these are some really good, tips that you're giving, and some great advice. Where can viewers connect with you and learn more about the author's journey in your 100 book marketing touchpoints resource?
Sure. So I'm on social because I have no choice. And I say I have no choice because I don't go outside. But that's
Right.
just me. That's what I've doubled down on social media. One day I'll go outside. So I'm mostly on LinkedIn, but I'm
Okay.
also on I can't even say I'm on TikTok. I got a TikTok account. I promise that I'm gonna do videos. I'll do that. Um Facebook, I have a lot of my author friend yesterday. She was like, "Why don't you post about your business on Facebook? You have so many followers." And I'm like, "That's my family and friends. I don't know where those followers came from. I think they came from when I was writing books, but then I
Mm.
stopped writing books, and now they just follow me and all my silliness." Um, I promise I'm gonna post on IG, but I like LinkedIn and I like Threads.
Threads is
And
interesting. That's most definitely the community platform, I feel like, more than any of them.
yeah, and it's I've done all of my business on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And one day I was like, let me just check out Threads. And I fell in love. Those authors, oh my gosh, they post and talk about everything. And
Everything.
it does feel like a community, although I
Mhm.
will argue that social media is not a community because you need
Right.
to get them off social media. But that's the closest thing. I would
Mhm.
agree. I hate Twitter with a passion. It has become ugh, it has become so disgusting. But I think Blue Sky tried, but Blue Sky is just like real slow to me. I like
Oh,
Threads better.
okay. Yeah, I've never tried Blue Sky, but yeah, I'm really trying to. I think I had signed up for some of everything, but
hmm
I'm just trying to limit it to what I'm doing right now. But okay, so your LinkedIn and Threads, how did they reach you there?
My link in bio has that lead magnet 100 book marketing touch points. And then I also have 100 publishing secrets
Okay.
most authors never learn. So that's helpful too.
Okay.
Um, I had an author, we talked this week, and he said, "Well, the next time I publish, I won't have to do that." And I was like, "What makes you think that? You definitely need to do this thing, right?" He was like, "Oh, that Philly advice. You just not even gonna lie to me. You just gonna tell me." And I was like, "I'm never gonna lie to you." He's like, "You just crushing dreams." I was like, "I'm keeping you in reality, dude." So
Wow.
yeah. People come to me
You're
with
not
all
even
of
gonna
these
lie to me. That was
yeah.
good.
What they come to me with all of this, oh well, I don't have to do this thing. I'm like, who told you that? That's a lie. People feel I think crushed, but I'm like, I would rather level set your expectations than sell you a dream and think you're gonna do
Right.
this thing, and then you try this thing and it don't work, or you find out it ain't true, and then you're gonna be mad at me. Mm-mm.
Exactly. Looking at you crazy.
Right.
Exactly. We don't want that. Alana, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise with our audience. It's been great. You're giving authors so much to think about as they navigate publishing, marketing, and building a sustainable author brand. Guys, I'll put the link in my bio or in the description on how you can get in touch with her and connect with her as well. To our Beyond the Page Media community, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this conversation with an author who may need this insight. Until next time, keep writing, keep rising, and remember your story matters.